The second pillar of mind control is repetition, and there's some fascinating science behind why it works so well. Your brain has a built-in shortcut. It tends to accept as true the things it hears most often. This made perfect sense in our evolutionary past. If everyone in your tribe kept saying there were dangerous animals, up in the North Valley, it was probably true. You didn't need to go verify it personally. Your subconscious mind keeps track of messages and which ones are most frequent. The quantity or repetition means your brain assumes the message must be true, even if it's complete nonsense. This is why mind control experts ensure that the same information is broadcast across all media platforms over and over: TV, radio, newspapers, social media, even in entertainment. We saw this in COVID, being used heavily with phrases like, "We're all in this together," or "Follow the science." These weren't spontaneous slogans. They were carefully crafted messages repeated again and again and again across all platforms. Control of the media is essential in any psychological operation. During COVID, for instance, you saw a flood of virus-related content across all channels. Movies like the 2011 film Contagion were heavily featured on platforms like Netflix, further priming the population to accept certain narratives about viruses and vaccines. This technique is called psychological priming, or sometimes predictive programming, or a future triggering of dormant programming. It's using entertainment and media to prepare people to respond in certain ways when real-world events occur. By saturating the airwaves with consistent messaging, people unconsciously adopt these ideas as their own. Censorship is also a critical aspect of repetition, because if people start questioning and contradicting the repetition, pointing out it's exaggerated or not true, that can cancel out the effects of repetition. So it's super important for manipulators to control speech and only let one set of ideas reach the public. COVID was an example of the power of repetition, and we can see other narratives like the global warming narrative is being managed in a similar way. There was an undercover hidden camera interview of a technical director at CNN. He talks about a plan from the highest level of the network to move from COVID to making a flood of information about global warming to create fear with this repetition.
Once the public will be open to it, we're going to start focusing mainly on climate like global warming, and that's going to be our next it's going to be our focus. So our next thing is going to be for climate change awareness.
What does that look like?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I have a feeling it's just going to be constantly showing videos of decline in ice and weather warming up, and the effects it's having on the economy, and really diving.
Who decides that?
The head of the network,
Who's that? Is that Zucker?
Zucker, yeah. I imagine that he's got his council, and they've all discussed where they think.
So that's the next
pandemic story that will beat to death. But that one's got longevity.
Do you think it's going to be just a lot of fear, climate?
Yeah, fear sells.
So fear sells. Repetition is more powerful than ever because social media creates echo chambers where we hear the same messages over and over. The algorithms actually amplify this effect by showing us more of what we've already seen.